welcome to episode 6 of Marconi Investigates. Today we're talking about the minimum wage. It's been the big news in Canada over the past few months. So there's been a lot of mixed reviews on whether or not this is a good thing. Some people really in favor of it, others opposing it. This has been a topic of interest of mine for a few years, and I'm going to explain now why I think the minimum wage is among the most harmful laws, not just for society as a whole, but in particular for low wage earners and for small businesses. I think most of us can at least understand the sentiment behind minimum wage. Every person deserves a living wage, right?
We said that it wasn't right for people to go to work full-time or sometimes way over full-time and still have to stop at the food bank on their way home to feed their families. So we made a commitment that is about decency and fairness. We committed to a $15 minimum wage in this term of office, and we are going to keep that commitment.
I'd love to see a world where everyone was earning $15 an hour, or $20 an hour, or 50, even $100 an hour. I think that's the world we want to work to, where everyone is working for a high wage. I just don't believe for a second that forcing businesses to do it is the way to get there. As a quick thought experiment, let's think about what would happen if overnight the minimum wage were raised to not $15 an hour, but $100 an hour. Well, think about it. So now it costs $100 an hour for any employee to be able to work. Now, who is that going to affect? Really, anyone that makes under $100 an hour. Who wouldn't be affected? Skilled workers, doctors, lawyers, people who can already generate a profit for themselves or a company at that wage. Now, I bring up the $100 an hour examples because it shows the effect of the minimum wage. $15 or any number has the same effect, but to a relative degree. It just affects fewer people. So under the $100 scenario, anyone who can only generate a profit making $99 or less is now out of work. Same thing under the minimum wage of $15 an hour. If a person or a low-skilled worker, be it a teenager or someone who just doesn't quite have the skills to earn a higher wage, decides to get a job with another employer at $14 an hour, well, that's illegal now. They can't do that. So people like myself who started at $6.85 as a job under jobs as a grocery clerk at a store, those jobs are being phased away now because minimum wage has gone up so much. Over half those people were between the ages of 15 and 19, and almost half were in the food, retail, and accommodation sectors. So now it is illegal to work under the current system below a wage of $15 an hour. And what's been the effect? Predictably, companies like Tim Hortons are laying off workers, raising prices, cutting employee benefits. And it's not only Tim Hortons. This is affecting Little Caesars and companies all across Canada. It's caused quite the backlash. And this is just the beginning. The Bank of Canada put out a report estimating that the minimum wage is going to result in 60,000 jobs having never been created over the next year. And the response from Ontario's Premier Kathleen Wynne? Apparently to flip the script on Tim Hortons by calling them bullies for cutting paid breaks. She said not to take it out on their employees, but to take it out on us. Look, the reality is there are millions of people in the world who through no fault of their own, do not have the capacity to be able to generate a profit for a company working $15 an hour. And there's a lot of reasons for this. It could be a lack of job experience, education, physical or mental challenges. I myself started at $6.85 an hour and made minimum wage for 8 years, all the way up to $11 an hour. And it's funny, the job that I used to do, courtesy clerk, bagging groceries, grabbing shopping carts, cleaning garbages, those jobs no longer exist in grocery stores because employers can no longer afford to pay those fees. These jobs have now been priced out of the market. All state-mandated minimum wage laws do is make it illegal for low-skilled workers to be able to find work, effectively condemning them to either being dependent on social welfare or going into the black market. Look, I don't know if it's in somebody's best interest to take a job for $14 an hour or $10 an hour or even $5 an hour, but I do know enough to at least respect people enough to allow them to make that decision for themselves. by going in and say, no, you can't take work for a lesser rate. Wow, look at us raising the level of welfare for the poorest of Canadians. That's not what's happening. It's funny, for all their rhetoric about helping Canada's hardest working people, at the end of the day, all they're doing is taking away choices from low-income wage earners, many of whom are just looking to get their start in the workforce. So what are your thoughts on the minimum wage? Feel free to leave a comment below and leave your thoughts. And if you really like what we're doing, please like this video and subscribe to our network. Until next time, this has been Marconi Investigates.